Whether you believe in them or not, I grew up in the deep woods, and I can tell you there is nothing else that could have the lung capacity that would be able to make that long and extremely loud scream. I'm sure they stay pretty close to water sources, and they're not just in Appalachia, they're everywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Now let's take a look.
We were in the same place where I had that sighting in Clayton, Georgia. There was about 5 or 6 of us walking down the road, with the little red headlamps on. And a few months after, I guess I had my sighting, he and I were side by side, and something come off the ridge. And, if you've ever been in a car wreck or something and you just know impact and you already prepare yourself, you're like gripping down. Something was tearing down that ridge right towards me, and I was on that side, and I grabbed his hand and just kind of like hunkered down, waiting to be hit by like a linebacker or something. And then right before it got there, it just stopped. Everybody heard it. I don't know what it was. I didn't see it, but it scared the jeebers out of me, I'm telling you.
The funny thing about that is whenever it started coming off the top of that ridge, when all of our headlamps turned around and was looking up on that ridge, there's mountain laurel up through there, and it's thick. You could see the mountain laurel parting as it was coming down towards us. And we both locked down like we are about to be run slap over.
They look like military?
Mm-hmm. There are these guys up in Pipe Brooks that are military helicopters. I asked who's acting chief. He's retired from the police department and the sheriff's department. But he said that they're doing practice of some kind up around the Pine Lake area. I said, well, what are they taking out of their black op helicopters? No star on it, nothing.
No markings.
Oh, he said they land in the field down there past a judge's house. I said, really? I said, just explain to me. Black op helicopters. Great big black SUVs all blacked out with people in dark suits. Now, what kind of practice they doing up here? And you tell me what they got in a big tarp hanging underneath the helicopter.
Really? Where is this? Not far from here?
No.
That's weird.
South Bay. And the people at Andrew, I know exactly where I live. I've been up their house a couple of times because they're right on the end of Pine Lake. And that's where one of the first casts ever taken must come out of was Pine Lake.
What the absolute...
Starting to regret that I stopped at this rest stop. And they say Bigfoot isn't real? I don't ever want to stick my arm out the window.
6 from the truck, and that's the closest road. I'm coming down here, I'm beat, get my gear off, get ready to eat. All of a sudden Eric's like, oh my gosh, big bear, big bear. I grab my bow, I raise up, I look down the hill, and it is the freaking tallest bear walking on 2 legs I've ever seen in my life. But the moment I realize, I turned to get Eric to turn on the camera. He's already filming at that point.
Yeah, I didn't get pushed on play until...
But when did you realize it wasn't a bear?
Well, when I realized it wasn't a bear, when we were sitting here, and with the foliage and everything, the undergrowth here, it looked like a bear because all I seen was the brown coming through. But then, as I got the camera and stood up, and you grabbed your bow, when it stopped right there at that pine. When it stopped at that pine right next to us, it stared at us, which seemed like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was staring back for a long time. At that point, I knew it wasn't a...
Here is a new Bigfoot video that captures some pretty clear evidence. The dark, ominous video shows a giant ape-like creature walking through the woods. It comes from a family who lives on a densely forested property. The father and his daughter and his son love to be outdoors and explore the nature surrounding. However, they've had their fair share of weird encounters in there. They've spotted what they described as unknown beings, and tonight was one of those nights. Take a look. In the dark woods, we see a dark creature. A shockingly tall primate-like creature that walks like a human. Even though the footage is dark, we can still tell this looks like a Bigfoot. It's covered in long, shaggy hair, and it's wide and strong, but it walks really strange. It's like a human's gait, but not quite. Maybe like something trying to mimic a human. Now here I up the brightness and exposure to give us a better look at the creature. Check it out. Now I say it quite often, but most of these Bigfoot videos around the internet are pretty controversial. A lot of people believe and a lot of people don't.
I've had experiences with Randy, and we talk often. He's never tried to make a cent off of this topic. Him and his wife, and I believe his son, they are out there often, more often than not, all the time. It's crazy. He's videotaped a reddish brown one. He's taken a friend of mine in the woods. They got a rock thrown at them recently, and they got a picture of the thing taken off up to the forest. Emailed to me, can't share it, I won't, whatever. A handful of years ago, Randy actually had his cameras going up the timber, and one of these things is looking at him over a stump. And he said it was actually making hissing sounds at him. And if he had had a video camera at the time, he would have got it all on video, but he only got the photograph. He said you can see one photograph, you can see it smell closed, the next one mouth's open. But it's a photograph, right? It's a photograph.
Right now I've got chills, and before a couple weeks ago I broke down and told my wife, and I cried hysterically, and she thought something was bad wrong. I said, I got to tell you something, because she's heard all my other stories and my dad's stories about these things. Mm-hmm. And I said, I have to tell you something, because I started having nightmares. I started listening to some certain Bigfoot shows, and it come flooding back, and I come out of the bed one night, this thing was after me again. The next morning I said, look, we got to talk. She had no idea what I was saying. Mm-hmm. But I cried. I mean, the only thing that really bothers me the most is monsters are real. Yeah. I'm not saying they're monsters. They look human, but my God, I don't see how a human can get that big.
And I think I told you this. I'm trying to reassure you.
Yes, sir.
I've done this a long time, and I've interviewed other people that had close encounters like this. Yes. And they don't hurt us.
No.
No. You hear some of these other shows. I think some people make stuff up. Yes, you know, but typically they don't want to be left alone. They're curious. It could have hurt you.
Oh yeah, it could have got me easy.
There should be some relief or peace of mind knowing it doesn't want to hurt you, and it left you be.
Yes, it did.
So I really feel you're safe to go back and hunt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it. As long as you respect them, which you did.
Yes, sir.
It's going to respect you.
Yeah.
So I think you can continue on with your hunting.
Yeah, I've still hunted all over the place.
Just not there.
Now, just last week, and I'll touch on this in a little while, that I've told you, I went back to an area that's no more than, it ain't no more than 3 miles. It's on the other side of the road. It's a huge valley. And I expected, we've hunted this area too, no deer sign, no nothing, but I found some crazy stuff, and it's just unbelievable what I found. And I didn't run. You know, I kept going and looking for more. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to explain this to people. Open your eyes and open your minds when you go to woods. Mm-hmm. It's there. Pay attention. Mm-hmm. Before, I seen trees broke off this and there and go right on, never paying attention. Last weekend when I went back, my mind was blown. Mm-hmm. I'm 4.5 miles up a valley nobody goes to. You have to wade a creek almost, it's above your knees. And so who's going to, you know, no.
What about, mention the rock you found?
Okay, I've got pictures of this, and I'll give them to you later. I'm going up through there, and like I said, this is about 4.5 miles up through there. And I'm in a big valley, and I come up, I started getting real kind of fidgety, a little bit nervous, because I was getting into a bunch of holly bushes, because I had an experience with those before. And so I'm just, my senses are heightened, and I'm really paying attention. And I've got it on video. I turned my video on because one time I heard something break. Could have been a bear, because bears are thick in this area. I paid no mind. So I'm trudging up through there, and I get to a spot, and I'm looking around and everything, and I look up on the hill to my right. There's a rock. It's about 4 inches thick, And this thing's massive. There's no cliffs where I'm at this point. I'm still probably, it could be a mile or farther on up there, even if this area has any cliffs. This thing is leaned up against a young beech tree that's no bigger than the small end of a baseball bat. It looks like a tombstone. Right above it are two trees broke off. One's broke off close to the ground. The other one's about 4 or 5 foot, and it's broke off, but the road breaks. I've got it on video and camera. I go up there, but when I seen it, I said, oh my God, who walks up in the woods? And this rock is not a creek rock. It's not smooth. It looks like it's been broke off of a cliff, but it's leaned up against this little beech sapling. And I've got it on video. I pulled the sapling away, and you could see where it's wore into it. It's probably been, I would say, late last fall, early this spring, probably, because you can see where the trees, maybe the wind blowed or something. And then after that, I find 3 rocks in the middle of nowhere, 3 rocks way bigger than a football. They're stacked on top of each other. Yeah. And I'm in an area nobody goes, because you have to wade a creek, you know, almost to your waist.
Yeah. Well, those are good signs. Those could be markers, them marking their territory. We don't know, but we do find things like that where there's been Bigfoot sightings. And then you also mentioned another great story. I think it was LBL. You went hunting there with a friend.
Yes, so, okay, after this, my dad calls me like we was talking and said, hey, you know, why are you leaving? You know, people would die to have your spot. I didn't have heart to tell him. You can't tell somebody that what you seen. I tried to block it out like it didn't happen. Oh, Thursday, we all tear out, go to LBL. We're over there hunting. We're on Wrangler's Camp, Wrangler's Loop or something like that. But I was hunting over close to the ATV trails. And if anybody's over there, you'll know the rough area that I'm talking about. We had an agreement in camp. Hey, if anybody sees a small doe, shoot it. We'll cut it up and tag it for, you know, but have camp meat to eat on. We was over for a week. So, second night over there, that evening, probably 4 or 5 o'clock, I sticked one. About 30, 40 yards quartering away, and I gut shot this thing. I mean, it's a bad shot. But anyway, it hit its back leg, and when it run off, I ain't gonna get into any details, but I knew it wasn't gonna make it. So we all had radios. I said, look, I've shot one, and here in a little bit, everybody just keep hunting, and later this evening we'll go look for it. So we all get back to camp. My uncle's out there with me, and my buddy, I said, hey, let's go. So my uncle, we get in the truck and drive around through there, and I could see where it come off the bank and cross the road. You could see where the hoofs had dug into the bank, and you could see blood. I said, we'll bail out here. We did. And at this time, it's right at dark. It's dusky dark. You couldn't, I had a headlamp on. So anyway, we drop off the bank. The bank's probably about 20 feet long at a pretty good 2-to-1 slope, and get down. It's about 30 yards off from where it come off the bank, and a bunch of saplings.
Bigfoot related you want to talk about?
I do. It's probably back in about 1971. Me and a buddy of mine, we was out frog hunting. My dad, he'd drop us off out in the country, and we'd go out there with our flashlight, our frog gigs, and get a few frogs. He'd come back to pick us back up. Well, one time we was out there, we finally got one frog. Wouldn't have much luck, but one end of the pond, it's really hard to get to the frogs. The old willow trees and stuff had growed up real thick. You almost had to get out in the water to get around to get to your frog. Well, we had to come way around a bunch of old growed up willow bushes and stuff, and we was going for the frog, and we heard something up in the woods growl. I don't know, it was a growl like I ain't never heard. I said, Ronnie, is Mr. Friedel got bulls or anything in this patch? He said, no, they don't even go in these woods. Fenced off. And I said, well, I just heard something, and about that time it let out a big old growl again, and then it started breaking a bunch of stuff. Man, I mean, like big old sticks, logs breaking. It sounded like great big old sticks and logs breaking, and then you could hear it coming. It was this creek that fell out that end. You could hear the feet sitting. Sound like somebody running. Man, this thing was breaking up some big sticks, and I said, I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of here. We took off like our rear ends was on fire, and we run up that. What is that, man? Come on.
Maybe it's a squirrel cracking a nut or something. I don't know. I want to go over here and check this because my curiosity is killing me. The fact that they put up a sign and there's a concrete structure. They're like very old at all. That's a pretty high coal seam too. And it's dry. What the freak? That was weird. Huh?
I think it's time to go.
Hey guys. Well, I'm about a mile from the gifting rock right now. Starting to get dusk. It's about 35 degrees out. And I want you to listen to what I'm listening to out here. It's pretty crazy. I'm bow hunting for deer tonight. That's how we feed our family here. We don't buy beef. We harvest venison and we eat that. So, but anyway, I want you to hear this. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can hear a little better.
It's at this moment that the noises grow even clearer. Eerie, otherworldly growls and howls echoing through the forest. The man notes that he hasn't seen a single deer all evening, and suspects that whatever is producing these sounds is driving the wildlife away. Even seasoned outdoorsmen who viewed the video admitted they couldn't identify the source. One of the top comments from someone living in Appalachia warned, "I don't recognize that sound. I suggest you get out of there." Some viewers have suggested the entity might be the Chiatanka, meaning big brother or elder brother in Lakota tradition. According to legend, the Chiatanka are large, hairy beings often associated with Bigfoot. They are said to inhabit forests.
Hi, my name is Eric Green, and had a Sasquatch sighting. It was 2007 or 2008, going on a hunting trip. I work at an automotive plant, and we got off about 3 o'clock that morning, and I was picking up another team member to go with me. So I picked him up on the way, and we was heading to Fayette County. It's in northwest Alabama, northwest corner. And we was heading up this road, and it's called Highway 171. For the people in Alabama, you know, it's super curvy, just super curvy. And so I'm sort of running late because I had to pick up him, trying to get up there, get to the hunting stand before daylight. And as I'm rounding one of the curves, I see a doe and a yearling standing out on the curve. Standing out close to the road, and they wasn't feeding. And for those hunters, the doe started stomping. I can see this in my head, like, and I'm thinking, well, when a deer is spooked, they stomp or whatever. The only thing that got me when I was going around the curve, when I slowed up, making sure they didn't jump out in front of my truck, she wasn't facing me, and that's the thing. So I slowed up as I'm going around the curve, and I finally get to where I'm pretty much almost side by side on the same side of her. The headlights from my truck turn around, and it hit I could see the eyes. It hit the eyes, and I see the whole body. And the thing, as soon as my headlights hit it, it dropped its head. And it was stalking the deer. It was looking in the direction of the deer, but it was like perfect track stance. If you know a sprinter or whatever, it was in a stance down on all four with his head up. And as soon as my lights from my truck hit it, it dropped, and it just froze. And as I slowly drive by it, the guy that was with me, we sitting there, we like, did you He was like, yeah. And it never dawned on me to stop, to slow down, to turn around. And we headed on up to the hunting club. And so we sitting there, and the guy that was hunting with me, he actually had a doe come out on him, and I told him he can take anything. He was a guest. And he said he sat there and he watched the doe until I came to get him. And he said he was sitting there, he was so confused about what we saw that morning, it never dawned on him to pick up his rifle to take the deer. And so the crazy part about it, it takes me about an hour to get to the hunting club. The whole way home, we never said a word. It was the quietest drive back home, never said a word. So I get home, I drop him off, I go back home, I go to tell my wife at the time and my kids, and they laughing. Oh yeah, Dad, you seen a cow, you seen another deer. Oh, okay. That was on a Saturday. I go back to work Monday, and I'm just hyped because some of the guys that I work with hunt, so I'm finna go in there and I'm about to tell them what we saw. The guy that I took with me was already at work. So I go up there, we in the team room, I'm like, man, did you tell him what we saw? Like, I didn't see anything. And I'm like, man, did you tell him about the thing, how it dropped his head? And it's like, I didn't see anything. I don't know what you're talking about. And I got laughed at, and I pretty much clammed up. And so me and my friend Steven, I finally, we was watching one of the documentaries on Bigfoot. And I told him, I said, yeah, I seen one. My girlfriend at the time, she laughed about it. But I told the story to Steven. I even got down on the floor and showed him how it was in a track stance and how it was looking at the deer. And me and him been going out researching ever since.
Can you demonstrate, if I back up, can you demonstrate how it was standing when you first saw it, and then how it changed its position, its head, if I back up here?
Like, it was in a stance, it was lower to the ground, but it was super wide, and as soon as my lights hit it, it did this. And it just sat there.
So it was like a track stance, like it was going to run.
Like it was, and the deer were probably 40, 50 yards from it.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell from the wood line from where it came.
Mm-hmm.
And my guess, the deer didn't see it because it was before light, but they smelled it. And if you're a hunter, a deer smell you before they see you.
Right.
And so as I was coming around that curve, and that doe was looking toward the Bigfoot, she was stomping. I can see her stomping her front leg. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, that can't be because of me.
Recently captured something extraordinary on a trail camera during a trip to Ruby Falls in the Alberta Rockies. While monitoring the area overnight, they set up a camera near one of their Jeeps, and what appeared on the footage has left both the team and viewers baffled. The recording shows a strange, humanoid-like figure with a translucent appearance, raising more questions than answers about what could have been lurking near their campsite in the dark. The video shared on their channel reveals the figure blending into its surroundings, while remaining distinct enough to be clearly recorded. Some explanations have been suggested, such as motion blur, low infrared lighting, or a combination of both. However, these theories fail to fully account for the anomaly, as the figure clearly moves on its own, and was confirmed not to be any of the campers. One viewer, experienced in using game cameras for Bigfoot research, commented, "I can confidently say I've never seen anything like this." To investigate further, the footage was enhanced with a light filter and enlarged by 150%. Yet the figure remained as enigmatic and unsettling as before. Its translucent nature makes it particularly intriguing, seemingly merging with the environment while still remaining visible. Moments like these challenge our understanding of what might inhabit remote and untouched landscapes. Whether this phenomenon is natural, a technological artifact, or something far stranger, one thing is certain: it demands further investigation. On an unusually still and silent night, a man and his wife find themselves pausing on their porch, the world around them cloaked in a thick, unsettling darkness. Out of the corner of their eyes, they notice something strange. a pair of faintly glowing orbs peering at them from the tree line at the edge of their property. At first, the man tries to brush it off, muttering that they're nothing more than an animal's eyes reflecting the dim light, perhaps a predator out hunting. Yet the longer they stare, the stranger it feels. The orbs don't blink, shift, or retreat. Instead, they hover in perfect stillness, suspended in the blackness as though they're not eyes at all, but something else entirely. The silence grows heavier, pressing down like a weight on their chests. Neither dares to look away, afraid of what might reveal itself if they break eye contact. Could it be some unknown predator, a trespasser, or something far more mysterious? Perhaps even Bigfoot itself, hidden just beyond the veil of shadows.
Have you ever wondered how Bigfoots communicate? This man found out, and it's something he will never forget. Memorial Day weekend, 2019, this man went to visit his daughter and son-in-law in Birch River, West Virginia. His daughter and son-in-law own a camper, and they're just sitting in the camper that's parked around the front yard, just talking, having a good time. And then he hears a noise that he had heard once before. And this wasn't just any noise. He said this was something he knew immediately where he had heard it, and it was on the famous TV show Unaliving Bigfoot. Yeah, I know, unaliving, you can't say the other word, yada yada. He recognized this noise immediately as the bionic bird noise from the famous TV show. And his daughter's boyfriend, who was there, just happened to be a avid outdoorsman and hunter. So he asked him, have you ever heard this noise before? Which his daughter's boyfriend replied, no, I have no idea what that is. It's very weird. So they continued to hear and listen to this noise for a little while until they decided to go back up to the main house. And they're all just kind of standing in front, talking, standing in the yard. And he said pretty much in every direction they are surrounded by mountains. There's mountains in front, behind, and on either side. Then just out of nowhere, he said on the mountain directly in front of him, he said, which was about 50 yards or so, he said there was this huge, it was a cross between a growl and a howl. But he said this growl, he says it wasn't something you would typically hear in the mountains of West Virginia. He said it sounded like something that came from a movie. He said you could feel it in your chest. It was that powerful. It like vibrated your chest. And as soon as that one howled, he said directly behind them in the mountains behind the house, he said probably a couple football fields away, there was another one that howled and growled also. And as you can imagine at this point, it's starting to get pretty creepy, but it doesn't stop there. Just to their right, he said this one's a little bit farther away. He's guessing maybe a half mile or so, he's not sure, but there was another one that replied with another howl, growl type thing, like in response to the other two. This guy believed wholeheartedly that these are Bigfoots communicating. And I guess this gentleman had noticed previously that his daughter had blankets hanging over the windows in the house. And I guess as they're talking about these, he explains to him about these howls and this bionic bird noise, that it's the way Bigfoot communicate. That's when his daughter proceeds to tell him that, yeah, that's why she has blankets hanging in her windows, because she seen one looking through her window one night. So apparently, Bigfoots are plentiful in West Virginia.
Harlan County is putting in their newspapers now about Bigfoot. I swear to God, it's the truth. I got this, and I forgot to tell y'all about it, so I'm going to tell y'all about it now. But it says, East Tennessee Bigfoot researchers heading up Letcher in Harlan reports of Black Mountain encounters on the rise. So we're seeing Bigfoot now.
They could be natural, which is what I tend to believe. But some think they're Nephilim, experiments gone wrong, or even paranormal that travel through portals. Either way, there are signs in those woods that they're around. You just have to know what to look for. If you enjoyed this video and you would like a part 2, just let me know. And don't forget to subscribe. As always, stay safe, stay aware, and question everything.